Hi there, this is Katie with TutorPug, and today I wanted to show you a couple of features of how to operate the TI-84 or TI-84 Plus calculator. I'm going to be using two different calculators today. This one on the left, the blue one, has a newer operating system, and as you can see, it has a light up LED screen. This calculator, the pink one, is much older and does not have a newer operating system. And I know that many of the students out there may have this one or this one, and sometimes the key entries are slightly different in terms of the order of operations. So I wanted to show you how to do the same problem using both calculators. So what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on using the table feature or the Y1 feature. And we're going to enter this equation into the calculator, and then we want to figure out what is f of 0, what is f of 6, what is f of pi, and what is f of -2. So first of all, we want to get this guy into the calculator, and we want to reuse him multiple times. I don't want to have to go to the home screen. Here's my home screen. If I hit second mode, so the second key and the mode key, that's a quit function, and it takes you back to the home screen no matter which calculator you're operating with. And I can hit clear to make that screen be blank. So I don't want to have to go to that home screen and enter this function multiple times. I'd rather just enter it once and then be able to have the calculator do the hard work for me to get all of these values in. So first of all, I'll do it with this guy. And one of the neat features about this newer model is if you hit the mode key, up here at the top, you can see there's two options, Math Print and Classic. And Classic mode will make this calculator screen look very, very similar to this one. It's kind of the old school mode. Math Print mode is a little bit of fun, and it does a few more neat things for us just in terms of appearance and sort of ease of entry. So I'm going to put this guy in Math Print mode and then hit second quit because that gets me back to my home screen. This guy, Old Pinky, if I hit that mode key, you notice that there's not that option for Math Print up at the top. It just doesn't exist, and it's not going to happen. So we're going to have to use this in Classic because that's the only mode that he comes in. So over here, on either calculator, we're going to be using with this Y equals key, which is the top left corner. And we will be using that key quite a bit throughout the semester. So if I hit Y equals, I have this screen of multiple Y1s, Y2s, Y3s, where I can enter up to 10 equations at a time. I already have things in here from a past problem, and I don't want those in there, so I'm just going to clear those out. Same thing over here. I'll hit Y equals. Looks like I have something from a past problem, so I'm just going to clear that out. So here on the newer calculator, one of the fun things that it will do, I'm going to hit the alpha key and then the Y equals button, and this little menu pops up, and the very top option is N/D, which stands for numerator denominator. If I select that, it gives me the skeleton of a fraction. And so I want to enter this equation as is using my fraction skeleton. So there's the equation again. We're going to do 221.46, and then I'll use my arrow key to bump down. 1 plus 3.2. Now I have to get this E on there. And there's a couple of different E keys on the calculator. Here's an E key, and here's an E key. I tend to use this one the most because it's just habit. This one allows you to enter an E if you don't want to put an exponent on it. This one, if you press that, it automatically creates an exponent place. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the second key and that button, and it pops an E to the exponent space. And there I'm going to put negative, and be sure you use the negative key and not the minus key, I'm going to put negative 0.44, and this key right here, it has an X, a T, a theta, and an N. We're going to press that, and it puts that variable in there for me. Over here on this guy, I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention to the order of operations. So what I have to do is enter this equation, but I have to make sure the calculator puts the entire denominator in parentheses and puts the entire exponent in parentheses, because it will be very literal and the calculator will do exactly what I tell it to do, so I better tell it to do the right thing. So on this calculator, this equation will look like this. 221.46 divided by, and now I've got several terms in the denominator, so I'm going to have to put that in parentheses, and I have 1 plus 3.2. Again, I can use my e to the, but this time it doesn't necessarily give me that pop-up exponent location. It just gives me a parentheses, which is good because I need to make sure that the negative 0.4x is all in a set of parentheses. Negative 0.44x, and I close that off. So that's how we get this into the equation, into the calculator for both systems. Now I want to do my work. I want to have the calculator plug a 0 in for the x and spit out the output, a 6 in, a pi in, and a negative 2 in. So I have two options. Over here above graph, see where it says table? If I hit second table, pops up this little grid, an X column and a Y column. And this says if you would like to enter whatever you want for X, the calculator will take that value and put it into Y1 and spit out the answer. So I can see already from a past problem, I've already entered a 0 for X. So the calculator has automatically taken that 0, plugged it in here into the equation that I stored in Y1, and spit out this value, 52.729. So I know that this is 52.729. If the instructor wanted me to show more than 3 decimals, then I'm going to use my cursor, these cursor location, up, down, left, right, and I'm going to highlight that value, and down at the bottom it pops up as much decimal accuracy as the calculator can hold. Over here, we're going to do the same thing, second table, and I'm going to hit a 0 and an enter, and it gives me my same value, 52.729. So now if I want to figure out what is f of 6, I can scroll down, 6 and an enter, and that gives me 180.2897. And if I want to do a pi, come back over here to this guy, make sure you're in your X column, and I don't have to delete this, I can just write over it. That's what I do constantly, is just write over those. So my pi key is here, above my caret key. So if I want to get a pi there, I have to hit second arrow, and you can see that it says, okay, you want to put a pi in for X? Yes, I do. That's an enter. And if I do that, it gives me a 122.8149 and so forth and so on. And again, if I hit a negative 2, make sure you use the negative key. Oops, I need to be in the X column. I need to be over there in the X column. Negative 2, enter, and it says if you plug in a negative 2, it spits out 25.412. Now, one quick thing. I'm going to make an adjustment over here while you're not looking. And I'm going to, there's my equation in Y1. I'm going to go to my table, And I want you to notice now that we have all these preset variables. And if I wanted to come down here, it's great if I want to know what f of 4 is, or if I want to know what f of 6 is. But if I want to know what f of pi is, the way this table is set up right now, if I hit second pi, it doesn't do anything. It won't let me change anything, which is a preset mode on many of these calculators. So the way you fix that, and you only have to fix it once, above the window key it says table set. We want to set our table to do what we want it to do. Second table set, and all I need, this is the independent variable, which means the X column, and the dependent variable means that Y1 column. This says we're automatically generating values of X. Well, I don't want to do that. I want the calculator to ask me what X I want it to calculate. So I'll use my arrow key. I'll select the word ask, press enter, and now if I go back to my table, I can enter whatever I want for X, and so forth and so on. On my next video, we'll work some backwards and we'll talk more about graphing. Have a great day. Keep studying. Bye.